All right, I wanted to make a quick follow-up video on my modifications to the Rogue Echo GHD. So I watched the video before I bought this thing that the Kurt Locker had done, where he had showed that he was just really pretty disappointed with it overall, because the fact that these are two separate pieces and there's no way to really, they're not connected. Even if you buy the face stabilizer, it pins into the rack or wall strip if you have it wall mounted, but it's ultimately it's not able to keep the pad and the rollers at a uniform position. The box wants to walk and move, and then mid-set it just is kind of garbage. And so I knew that going in, and I was hoping that I was going to be able to come up with a solution to that. And after a very long time, I finally have. So in my prior video, I had the GHD up on both of these pull blocks, and what I've done is move it down to one, because there was just having three things stacked and trying to be held together by the circumferential strap that comes on this. There was too much movement between the three, and I found it was totally unnecessary. At this height, actually, I can get all the way down full stretch, and I don't quite touch the ground with my head. So this works perfectly good, and it's more comfortable to get in and out of. So really my modifications are as follows. So as I showed before, I have just two pieces of essentially like 1x4 material that I've run into this pull block. And then I have this bolt, which I've put a longer bolt in there, you can see, so that I have a little more of a material for this to sit on, because the standard bolt like this, it only has this little, 1/4-inch lip or so, and it was slipping off occasionally. And so it's got three other bolts tight in this mounting bracket, and I think that's fine. I haven't had any movement by swapping this one to the long one. So that keeps it down. That keeps the box down, so it's not rocking in this plane. The biggest problem I was having is the box kept wanting to walk out that way, or the rack wanted to push back, because this is a flat foot rack. So and it's on wood, so it would slide and shimmy, and the gap would get bigger. And instead of my knees being up on the pad where it's more difficult, they started sliding down, 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 to where it was just too easy. So I took a third one of these 1x4s, and I ran it crossways. And then I have two of these straps that I had bought to hang my chains for when I was doing chain work. These are just cheap. They're like utility straps for people that do climbing. I can't remember off the top of my head what these things are called, but they have a big loop on one end, a big loop on the other end, and a bunch of these little loops here. So I use this to clip in with carabiners to set the chain height. Well, I just ran those two things, one around each end of this block, and then pinned it into the rack here. So this creates a good tight position so that it can't push out. These can't separate anymore. And so with those few modifications, and it is, to be fair, it's a little fiddly to set it up and stuff, but at this point it works really good, and it doesn't move. And so for me in my tiny home gym where I couldn't fit a real GHD, this works just fine. I can break it down and store it up against the wall. So anyway, just wanted to do an update on that. This is good now. It sucked for a long time, but it's good now.